Everybody, we're here with director Brad Anderson, and he has a new movie coming out January 27th in theaters and on demand, January 31st, and it's called Blood. Brad, how are you, man?
I am good. I am very good. Yeah.
Awesome. Can you tell us about your film Blood?
Yeah, Blood is it's a dark, I mean it's a dark genre movie. I guess you could most easily put it into the um vampire movie genre.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's a very emotional and dramatic kind of family drama. It's essentially about a mother, single mom whose kid is bitten by a dog and develops some sort of viral condition in which he needs to have blood to survive. And if he doesn't get blood, he will die. So the story is really the lengths that his mom will go to provide him with what he needs to survive, to save her child, right? It's really a story about ultimately the sacrifices that a mother will make to for her children and to protect her family in the guise of a sort of vampire movie. But it's not a vampire. It's there are no fangs or anything like that in it. It's no crosses or garlic. It fiddles with the tropes of vampire movies, but it's more really played from the perspective of what would happen if someone actually did develop a addiction or need to drink blood to survive. Forget about all the supernatural stuff, almost like as a medical condition. What would you do?
Mhm.
And so it sort of plays with that idea. There are supernatural elements in it to a certain degree, but it's mostly about the relationship between this mother and her children, and the drama that she's put into in order to save them, save particularly her son. And that's what I loved about it. In my work I tend to like to find stories that straddle genres, that aren't just so one note or straight down the line. And as I said, it kind of plays with the horror genre, but it also plays with it also plays as just a straight out drama, suspense drama, emotional family drama. Um, so that combination to me is what's always really appealing. It allows you to work on different types of palettes in a way.
Yeah, different notes all at once,
Yeah, right.
different harmonies. You mentioned that you liked how it played with those different genres, but when you first read the script by Will Honley,
Hmm.
what was your first impression? What was your first take?
Well, I was just surprised. I mean, at how moved I was by the story. It was scary and creepy and like kind of disturbing. But also in the end, like, the last sequence particularly, just like I found it very moving, and I was like in tears reading it. I was like, as a parent, because I'm a parent, any, the idea of, having to, without giving too much away, make this awful sort of choice at the end of the story, to me was like heart wrenching, and like despite the horror of it, just like emotionally heart wrenching. And I like that combination, as I said, like when you can start out a movie that just seems like it's going to be one thing, a movie about a kid who drinks blood, but then it becomes something else. And so, that's what drew me to it. And also just the character of Jess, played by Michelle Monaghan, who's the single mom in the story. It's really all her story. I mean, she's like the centerpiece of it. She's the anchor, but she's not a perfect mom. She's a flawed mother. She's got her own addiction issues. She's got a past that's not exactly stellar. She's in the middle of a custody battle with her husband, maybe losing her children. So you meet this woman, and in the end, she has to be the thing that's going to help. She's got to have the strength to save her kids, but she's also not the perfect person to be doing that. And
Right.
so the fact, and then so when Michelle wanted to do it, because she read it like I did, and she was like, "Oh man, I love this character. I love this story." Like I had always wanted to work with her. We had another project in the past that we had tried to get off the ground that didn't come together. So this just seemed like the perfect opportunity to collaborate. And she's so good. She's so like she just brings so much complexity to the character she plays, but also she just really can go to that vulnerable place as well.
Hmm.
And so anyhow, the opportunity to work with her in this movie was a real draw as well, for sure.
Was it difficult to cast the role of Owen because it's a pretty intense little role for a kid?
Yeah, definitely. Owen, who plays her son, he had to be both a normal, just kind of, whatever he is, 12 years old, 11 years old in the story, boy, who's just like every other kid. Like I have a son who was, when I was making the movie, was pretty much his age. So I kind of got that, and I liked, trying to find an actor, a young kid who can be just authentic and real. It's tough sometimes with kids, this kid was just natural. He just was who he is,
Hmm.
but at the same time, able to bring a more, unsettling kind of quality to the character when things get a little creepy towards
Hmm.
as things start to go the way they do. And then I don't know, whatever about that kid, Finley, the guy who played Owen, he just was able to bring this kind of great weirdness to the character, and just the way he just opened his eyes, and just there's moments when he's supposed to look like he's just thirsty and hungry, and
Hmm.
and it's just like, whoa, man. And like, so I think we were fortunate to find a kid to find Finley. And similarly with Skylar, who plays his sister. um Skylar is just amazing actress, young actress who's just got a real future. Both of them do. I mean, I like working with kids. I find I've done it in other things. This is probably the most I've done with kids before, but I just enjoy it because it's like, there's just a freshness to their take on things, and they're
Hmm.
excited. They bring that, not that Michelle and Skeet, the other two actors in the movie, they weren't into it, but kids just have like this look. They just have this sense of like, this is like, I'm so thrilled to be in this. And they're not jaded by the business or anything.
Hmm.
They don't care. They're in it because they like, it's like play.
Hmm.
So that was fun. It was great working with those kids.
Awesome. Well, congrats on getting that together, because that's a find for sure.
Yeah,
So what's next for you and why is it going to be session 10?
it was actually going to be session one. Uh, we, oddly enough, we have like the writer Steve Jevon, who we wrote session nine together. We have a project called Session One, which is the prequel to Session Nine.
Ah,
It's set in the 1960s, and it's like a prequel to the story, and it's all set in and around that mental hospital, but when it was operating, when it wasn't abandoned. It's kind of a sort of going back in time thing.
hmm.
We're trying to get that off the ground, because that'd be a lot of fun to do, because it would be like totally similarly in tone, but just a different world, like that's in development, I guess you could say. The movie I'm doing here is in Malta is a sort of is a police thriller. It's not a horror movie. It's a sort of straight out thriller drama.
Oh God, you're in Malta right
Um,
now?
yeah, I'm in Malta. Yeah, that's
Ah,
why it's so dark.
so
Uh,
sorry. So sorry.
no, yeah, you saying that sarcastically.
No,
Malta's
no,
nice.
no. I'm just like, it's got to be. What time is it?
Oh no, it's not that. It's 7:34. It's no big deal.
Oh, okay, okay. I was like,
Yeah, it's
wow.
not like 2 in the morning or anything. No, I'm here because we're doing a movie called The Silent Hour, which is a movie where Joel Kinnaman plays a detective who's losing his hearing, and he's put into a situation where he has to protect this deaf woman from these bad guys who are trying to kill her. And it's all, I mean, a lot of the movie's signing, a lot of it's ASL, American
Oh,
Sign
awesome.
Language. So, again, like this movie, combining like a thriller, like a kind of straight out chase movie, with a movie about deaf people, to me is like a really interesting combination. So I'm over here preparing that movie, and that's what I'm doing next.
It's
Um,
awesome.
what's that? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So that's happening, and there's other projects, of course. I mean, you always have to have 4 or 5 things up your sleeve because
Yeah,
it takes time
definitely.
to get movies made these days. But yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
it'll be next.
Well, honestly, best of luck on this release, and
Thank you.
definitely looking forward to what's coming next as well. Everybody, this is Brad. Anderson, director of Blood, comes out January 27th in theaters and on demand January 31st. Brad, it was a pleasure and thank you so much.
Great talking to you. Talk
All
soon.
right.
Bye.